If you guys have not heard, there is a brand new MMA organization coming in 2025, and shockingly, the amount of fighters that it has gathered is insane. It is the GFL. I already don't remember if I've said that, but regardless, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the MMA Explore page, what Ariel Helwani had to say about it, to get a gauge on how people are feeling about this. I'm going to give my thoughts, and as always, I would love to know what you think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Guys, let's take a look at what Ariel Helwani said. He put it very, very nicely, got a ton of views, easy to find, so this picture has been floating around everywhere. A larger list of the fighters who signed with MMA GFL. This is a crazy list. I'm going to leave it on screen right now for you guys. I'll say the notable names that everybody might know. Tyron Woodley, Fabricio Verdum, Anthony Pettis, Junior Dos Santos, Hector Lombard, Luke Rockhold, Ilir Latifi, Abubakar Nurmagomedov, Vanderlei Silva, Alexander Gustafsson, Thiago Santos, Andrei Arlovsky, Kevin Lee, Frank Mir, Charles Rosa, Alan Belcher, Marlon Moraes, Benson Henderson, Gegard Mousasi, letting go of the PFL. I love to see it. Francisco Trinaldo, Greg Hardy, you have Bubba Jenkins too, Robelis Despine, you have, who else would everybody know about? Jimmy Rivera, Tanner Bozer, John McDessie, Felipe Lins, Sidney Outlaw, Will Brooks, Andre Harrison, and Jan Carball. This is an insane roster. Now, the biggest thing to notice is this is a giant mixture of decent talent, veteran fighters, and a lot of really old people. But this is only like this is only the top 50 most followed fighters who signed with the GFL. This is an insane roster for a brand new organization. This isn't like what the PFL has been doing, where it's just like, okay, you know what, we'll take one UFC star. No, they have gathered some huge names. And this is only the top 50 most followed fighters. And I just tried to name for you all the fighters that people might know. Like, you have Junior Dos Santos. How old is he? Is he going on 50? But regardless, you also have guys like Marlon Moraes, Gegard Mousasi, who are still very capable fighters. Kevin Lee, and then you guys have guys like Frank Mir, and I love Frank Mir. Don't get me wrong, one of my favorite fighters, but there's fighters here that have no business fighting anymore. I was watching a couple of interviews, and especially when it came to guys like Kevin Lee, like, they said that the offer was too big for them to even consider saying no to. I don't know how much money they're forfeiting over. And there's also been rumors going around that apparently 50% of the revenue is actually going to go to the fighters. If that also doesn't have people just want to drive over there and sign with the GFL, that's going to be crazy. But that's not all that we have over there, because we have a post from Combat Sports today. So the Global Fight League will launch in April 2025. 6 teams, 4 continents, MMA draft, 300 plus fighters eligible to be drafted, 120 fighters will be drafted, 20 fighters, 10 divisions, 2 fighters per division. GFL draft will begin in January 2025. So it's an interesting take on how this is going to go, but this is an insane, just to come out of nowhere, like all of these fighters signing with a brand new organization. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the best, but this is certainly a fantastic start to an MMA organization. I actually can't wait to watch this and to see what they actually put on, because there's been some trailers and things like that, but it's not just about what I think. Let's take a look at the MMA Explore page. People replying to Ariel's tweet to kind of get a gauge on how people are feeling about this. So the Combat Sports Matrixer had this to say: they're just another MMA promotion. They're here today, but will be gone tomorrow. They have signed well-known names, but these fighters, with all due respect, are past it, and having an aging roster is not a good long-term strategy. GFL will never even surpass the PFL. For this one, I actually disagree. What he's not saying anything that's incorrect, but at least you have a wide variety of names that, how many events could you put on? Depending on how you like stack these cards, you have some really good fights below, and then you have like a Tyron Woodley main event, you have a Junior Dos Santos main event. People tune into that. I'll tune into that. I can't wait to watch that. I'm not looking at this like it's going to be the best MMA organization of all time. I'm looking at it like, okay, these guys are going to go out, get a great payday, going to be a weird, sloppy fight, but it's going to be cool to see Frank Mir again, at least, you know? I do like the reply over here. It's for fun and for entertainment and a way for these fighters to earn a living. It's not meant to be the UFC. That's kind of how I'm looking at it, to be honest with you. With Don Davis trying to destroy both PFL and Bellator, you'll be surprised. Maybe. But let's take a look at what some other people had to say. So, and bringing up the ages of some fighters over here, you have Hector Lombard, 46, Frank Mir, 45, Verdum, 47. I imagine that the drug testing is not going to be existing, so Verdum's going to come out just juiced to the gills. Maybe Arlovsky, Lombard, I can't wait to see what that dude looks like, but the organization is way too old. The fights are going to suck. But if you have some of these names at the top of the list and have a good undercard for it, I could see it succeeding. I'm not going to say like it's going to be competing with like the UFC, Bellator, One Championship, anything along those lines, even the PFL. Maybe the PFL, with the way the PFL has been going. Man, I'm just so happy to see that Gegard Mousasi finally got out of there. I hope that they signed a lot more Bellator roster content. I know we saw a couple other Bellator guys, but I'm just happy that Gegard's going to get paid, and hopefully it's even more. Let's take a look at what Sam had to say. For a second, I'd hoped it would be like, these are legends of the sport, we'll draft promising young fighters we signed, and while fighters will compete for the money and win for the records, the leagues will compete in a football and soccer-like table of points for wins and stuff. An interesting idea. We'll just have to see and wait and see how it plays out, but it's a weird build for a card so far, or an event, an organization, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's take a look at what Jordan Cheaties had to say. I mean, I'm going to watch, but between the team format and most likely paying a lot of these big names the money they command, I don't see this league lasting very long. Not sure anyone is too excited for these former stars to fight in 2024-25. That's the problem. Can they afford to pay all of these fighters long-term in order to stay sustained? What's the reasoning for this organization beginning? I have a hard time believing it's actually for the fighters. Some guy just like, okay, we're going to start a fight league and we're going to be generous to the fighters. What is it for? Like, I'm not going to dive into it, but you get the point in what I'm saying over here. So Alex smiled at this to say, 60% too old, 25% washed past their prime, 14% mid-level fighters, 1% UFC caliber, aka must-watch TV. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. They have to be very strategic on the way they go about structuring these cards, okay? MMA Roasted had this to say, congrats to all the fighters who signed with the GFL, the Geriatric Fight League. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of people call it like the Grandpa Fight League. A Geriatric Fight League is the most common one, but you're seeing it everywhere. I get it, but I'm happy that these guys are supposedly making a ton of money. When will people learn? Starting a fight promotion with most of your fighters being old, retired, mid-40s guys is not a viable promotional strategy. And it's also just sad. Who's ready for Horace Gracie versus Ken Shamrock all over again? The thing is, they also have a ton of fighters, supposedly. Like, these are just the top 50 that we've seen. Have them as the main event. Have them as the co-main event. That could work long-term as long as you don't do what the PFL does and just stack giant names on one card. Have a couple draws at the top of the card and make sure you have really, really solid matchups below that. This can work. The problem is nobody has been able to make it work so far. You're taking these, and I don't want to call them UFC rejects because there's some of them that are, but there's a lot of UFC legends that are going to appear here, people that are going to bring their followers, people that are going to bring their names. I'm certainly going to be watching. What I want to see on their undercards, what I want to see along with these fighters that I've known for so long, I'm not expecting the fights to be that great. Make sure you have some solid, young talent ready to go. This can succeed. This is very capable of succeeding, but you have to do it the right way. Regardless, I'm excited for 2025. We got another promotion to watch. I'm hyped for it. I'm just hoping that it's not in the morning. I'm hoping that's not the case like Bellator recently, but I don't know. Let's hope for the best, guys. Let me know what you think about all this down below. Thank you so much for being here. Check out this video on screen right now if you want to keep watching the channel. YouTube thinks you will like this video the best. Thanks again, guys. Take care.